Hey there, y'all. This is Alicia from Knead Pizza in Harrisburg, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of our classic red pizza kits at home. All you are going to need to make this kit is a few simple things that you should already have: some flour, spoon, oil, cutting board, a pizza wheel or a knife to cut your pizza when you're done, and of course a pizza pan to cook it on. Today I'm going to be using this like non-stick perforated kind of cheap guy that you can get at Giant or like grocery store anywhere, but you can also use like a cookie sheet or any kind of tray that you can throw into the oven and it won't melt and won't burn. So alright, let's get started. First things first, approximately 2 hours before you want to begin, you want to unwrap your dough ball from the fridge and lay it out on your counter on a floured surface to come up to room temperature. Be sure to keep it covered with either a dish towel or the plastic wrap that we gave it to you in. When you're ready to cook, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 500 degrees. So now we're ready to stretch our dough. Our dough's been sitting on our counter for approximately 2 hours, is nice and relaxed, and is ready to go. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is spread a little bit of flour down on our surface so that our dough doesn't stick. We're going to pick up our dough and put it right in the center of that little bit of flour. And then we're just going to pat around the dough ball to flatten it out a little bit and make sure there's no large air bubbles. So as you can see here, there's one large air bubble. All we're going to do is pinch it open and fold the dough back over and pat it down. We're just going to pat lightly. We don't want to really put a lot of pressure on. This is just to get a feel for our dough, to see where it's at, and flatten it out a little bit. So now that we have that flattened out, what we're going to do is make our crust. So we're going to start palm on the edge and our fingertips, and about half an inch to an inch away from the edge, we're just going to pinch that dough in between our hand and our fingers to form our crust. So now that we have our nice crust ring, we're going to take the flat parts of our fingers and we're going to start right here in the center and we're just going to push out. You're going to do that on all sides, all the way around, start in the center and pushing out. You don't really want to go past that initial line we made for our crust because we want it to stay there so that it can cook up and you can have a crust and it's a little nice and fluffy. Alright, so now that we are here, we're just going to flour this a little bit, flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so this dough ball makes about a 12-inch round, and the pan that we have here is about a 13. So we're about half the way there. We're going to table stretch it for as much time as we can to get it stretched out as far as we can to make it a little easier for ourselves, but about halfway is good. So now we're going to pick it up and put it on the backs of our knuckles and just spread your hands apart. This is just going to loosen up the center a little bit. Okay, then we're going to take the edges here and we're just going to do the same thing, just pulling our hands apart. To show you without the dough, it's just going to be like this. And you're just going to continue to do that until you have your 12-inch round. So now that we have our dough stretched out, we're just going to carefully pick it up and place it onto our tray. If you have a non-stick tray, you don't have to worry about flouring or oiling the surface in any way. It should come right up. If you don't have a non-stick tray, just a little bit of olive oil should do the trick just on the pan so that it doesn't stick. Alright, now we're going to top our pizza. So what I like to do is just take the sauce and put it all right in the center. From there, you can take your spoon and just press it out, and in a circular pattern, just kind of spread it out to the edges. Again, you want to leave about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of crust down there. And just kind of spread the sauce until you have it evenly distributed. Then you're just going to take your cheese and you're going to spread that nice and even across the sauce. And last but not least, just a little bit of a drizzle of olive oil around the outside. Alright, and now we're ready to cook. So we're just going to pop this in our 500-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. I recommend starting at 12 and then adding time on as you need it. That way it doesn't burn. Alright y'all, 12 minutes is up. Pizza's ready. Ooh, bubbly cheese is never a bad thing. Alright y'all, looking pretty good. All that's left is to cut it up and enjoy. Good stuff.